Medrion had captured her during a raid on one of the tyrant's convoys. I, more than anyone, knew what that meant, and what Medrion was capable of subjecting her to, especially now that all of God's angels had fallen and become partly mortal. But when we freed her, and I saw her with the tyrant, when I saw the way he looked at her and cared for her and demanded that I heal her, it had brought up bile. Bile because he hadn't spared a second to check whether I was okay. Bile because he hadn't questioned Ethan's absence. Ethan, who had died in such a brutal manner, his skull caved in and crushed under Medrion's foot. Bile because Medrion had told me Kalmia and the tyrant were lovers, and I hadn't believed his words. That was where rage lived. There, in the look the tyrant gave me, the concern for her in his eyes. Had he just used me to get her back? Had he pushed me into Medrion's jaws as a distraction, for the sole purpose of extracting his lover? What did that make me to him? Disposable, just like Ethan and just like everyone else. There was a reason they called him the tyrant, a manner in which he had gained his namesake. I was glad I had left him behind, him and all the rest of them. All of them except Ethan. Poor Ethan. He was the only angel who showed me any true compassion or kindness. He wanted nothing from anyone. He only wanted to make the best of the lot he had been given. Though Medrion was gone, I had not given up on vengeance. I would find him one day, and I would make him pay for what he did to me, what he did to Gadriel, and what he did to Ethan. And as for the tyrant, he had also made my list. I had been soaring over water for some time, ruminating over the events of the past few weeks. I wasn't sure when exactly I'd left solid ground behind, but I knew I had to keep flying. I had to find Helena, another bastion of angels, another home for the fallen. I didn't know what it looked like, or where exactly it was. I only had a general direction to fly toward. But flying was no longer an option, or, at least, it would stop being an option soon. All around me there was only water. Water and clouds, as far as the eye could see. Already I was feeling the effects of dehydration, hunger, and extreme fatigue. I hadn't slept in days, or eaten, or even had a sip of water, despite how much of it there was around me. I knew well enough not to drink salt water, though, that it would only make things worse. The question I was faced with now was simple. Do I keep going, or do I turn around? Going back to find sustenance would make finding Helena even harder. I hadn't steered off course since I got into the air, but I knew if I turned around, I would inevitably get lost. I couldn't let that happen. I had to push on. I forced my wings to beat again, pushing myself higher into the air where the clouds were thinner. I had gotten used to soaring, to gliding. In truth, it felt good to be up here, amongst the clouds. It felt like home somehow, or as close as I could get, at least. But I couldn't keep this up forever. I needed to land, I needed to find shelter, and I needed it fast. The wind whooshed past me, a cool breeze caressing my tired face. I shut my eyes and turned my head toward the brush of air, allowing it to refresh me and reinvigorate me as much as it could. Then I felt it, a pulse at the edge of my senses. When I opened my eyes again, I saw it. Light. It was bright enough that I could see it even at this height. A lighthouse? I wasn't sure. It shone brightly, but it seemed too low against the surface of the water. Wings aching, I knew I would have to dive beneath the clouds to get a better view. Instead of controlling my descent, I curled my wings up behind my back and let myself plummet. The rush of wind through my hair and my feathers was heavenly, a reprieve. But as I raced through the air, falling rapidly into the mantle of clouds beneath me, I felt my mind float away from my body. I knew I was falling too fast, but I was too exhausted to do anything about it. Something inside of me refused oblivion's call. I fought off the encroaching darkness, keeping myself awake and conscious. I opened my eyes, unfurled my aching wings, and with a force of will managed to twist myself around in the air as I fell.